Okay, so this drawing was inspired by the song Digest by Bloom, and I feel that song a lot because I think that it just kind of fits, I guess, the way that I think about a lot of things in general, but especially, I guess, things related to relationships with people and what others might think. And I feel like a lot of people would probably relate to this song a lot because it can be like really complicated to navigate things like connections with people and stuff, and I know that a lot of people have a lot of things they worry about with how things could fall apart in relationships and stuff, and just that because it can get so complicated, and those things are like really important to me, and I just really want to do things right and to be a safe space for people, but it can be sometimes easy to mess that thing up and do things wrong and respond to things wrong, and I guess I overthink things a lot, but I feel like it's not always a bad thing to be careful about things. And I think that even though this song is very clearly about like anxiety, things like that, and worrying and that kind of thing, I feel like I really like the way that the sound style is, because it feels like a really comforting sound style, and I think that really relates to the lyrics actually a lot, because I think that personally I find the whole concept of it to be something that is comforting in a way, because it's kind of like the hope of, even if I mess things up or even if I'm doing things wrong, if I can just get a chance to fix it, to become aware of that, then there's a chance that it could get better and things could be okay. And just the whole, especially really like the last part of it, where it's just kind of the whole concept of wanting to be kind of like torn apart in a sense, and then so that you could be like put back together in a way that's better, in a sense, in a way that to where things could maybe work. It's just like, I guess sometimes I get like where I'm maybe over checking to see if I'm doing things right, which maybe I don't do that with every person, and maybe I sometimes don't do that enough, but I feel like it kind of gives me like a sense of peace if I can just see how people are taking the things I say and see how it's coming off and see if there's anything I could change, because then if I'm aware, then I can have the chance to change it. But then sometimes I guess that kind of a thing could spiral into just talking and just checking and still having trouble actually applying it, or then just like maybe going way overboard and making things complicated just because you're worrying too much about that. But I just really don't want things to fall apart. And I guess it's also could be like related to fear about reputation thingies, because I don't want to mess up and come off wrong with something and then have people get the wrong idea, and then especially like if that's like online, then it's really hard to take that back because you can't explain it to every individual. And I guess it's kind of just like really wanting to be understood with what your intentions are, and also just in general wanting to do the right thing and learn and find whatever God would want me to, and like fear of misrepresenting God and doing things wrong related to that. And I guess that would also tie back into the social thing a lot, because I think that a lot of what he wants for us is to, of course, love each other and do that right, and also there's the fear of if I push people away from him accidentally. And with the last part where it's like talking about being torn apart and then kind of sewed back together, I feel like that's kind of like the hope of, if you let experience and other people like point out I guess whenever what you might be missing, then there, and like maybe it hurts and maybe it's anxiety inducing to find out about. Maybe I get obsessive over communicating sometimes, but I guess maybe not with everyone per se, but I guess some people more than other at least. And just the whole idea of just wanting a chance, I guess. Just wanting to, like, not be rejected, I guess. To not have things fall apart. For there to be, like, even if there's mistakes along the way, just for there to be, to know that ultimately that it's gonna be okay, in a way. And I feel like I have that hope a lot with, like, the way that the gospel works, in a sense, because it is a journey, and it's kind of, I guess some people might almost paint it as if it's something where you're supposed to hurry up and get better, but I think that that's the whole thing, is like you start a journey. If you're being reborn, you're gonna have, obviously, you're gonna have, I guess, a spiritual childhood in a sense, because you don't just become born an adult, so then you just have a chance to, like, grow, just relearn things, and then there's just kind of that hope of, even if it means facing yourself and that kind of a thing, then maybe there's just the hope that ultimately, I feel like there's kind of, like, that's the thing, is I feel like a lot of people, it can kind of hurt to face ourselves, because we just want to be okay and we want to do it right and that kind of a thing, and I feel like people might have, like, a lot of different responses, because some might kind of, when faced with that, they might go into denial or project it on others, or they might spiral and into self-hatred and that kind of a thing, and it can be really hard to be calm about it, like, whatever reaction one might have, it can be really hard to be calm about it. But I guess that's why people need grace a lot, just to where you can have understanding, but also, like, understanding and patience and that kind of a thing. And so then there's the chance to grow. I almost feel like the vibe of the song also kind of gives off almost a feeling of, like, a hug, in the sense of, it's like you want to hold on to someone or something so badly and just want to be close with them really badly, and because, like, of course, if they're, like, willing to do, they just really want to be, I guess, accepted and loved. Also, the feeling of a hug in the sense of, like, it's okay, you can keep holding on and you can keep this. Because if we just, like, keep up communicating, and if we keep being open to finding out if we're doing it right, then there's hope that we could hold on to this forever, and maybe it won't fall apart in that sense. And maybe we won't have to fear about getting stuck and being blind and then things getting bad. So maybe if we're always, like, open to being refined, like, in relationships or just as a person, that kind of a thing, then it's like you're safe in that hug, because you're holding on and it kind of feels like being held on to, like, I guess, by the other person in a sense, because if there's someone who's, like, I know it sounds as if, like, I guess the way I'm expressing it sounds like you'd be the one who's mostly clinging on to, but it's almost like the hope itself would be hugging you back. But also I feel like with a lot of people that I do worry about this a lot with, they're actually, like, really reassuring, actually, even though I still worry about it, even if they, so I can kind of feel a sense of security, and it's like, what if we could just be like this forever, and what if we could be safe? But then things might still end up getting complicated, because maybe that's, like, not all there is to having security or having things actually work out. And people really are, like, a lot of the times I've met, like, a lot of people who are, like, really kind to me, and they do, like, respond in ways that I feel like they're, like, understanding and stuff. And currently I do feel like a lot of people do, like, have more positive opinions of me a lot of the time. Like, there are many people who are, like, really, really kind to me and really reassuring and really, like, they express a lot of appreciation, and they're, like, really just sweet and stuff. So it's not like I'm feeling like I'm really rejected a whole lot. It's just kind of part of it's like the way I see around me a lot, that things happen and then people don't understand each other and then things fall apart and then people become enemies with each other, or maybe not straight up enemies, just like have negative opinions of each other and don't understand each other, and I guess I'm very aware of how that could happen to me too. I just see a lot of how things fall apart. And I wanted to use mushrooms, I thought that they'd be like a good symbol to fit with the meaning and also like really the metaphor that the song uses and stuff, because of the way they help bring decay in the world, but it's all part of the way the environment works and stuff, so it's not even necessarily like having to be a sad thing. It can just be almost like it keeps the environments working and stuff so that it can lead to growth in different ways. And for the growth part, I wanted to like have something to illustrate that, so I wanted to use like flowers to kind of show that the hope of growing and new life kind of coming over, even though there's like the decay happening to maybe parts of oneself in order for that to take place. If any of you I guess relate to this song in any way, like whether it's in a similar way that I do or if it's like in your own way, then feel free to like tell me in the comments. I think that would be like very interesting to hear about. And I think that's a really amazing thing about songs is there's a lot of different ways I think that people can connect with them, and a lot of different people can connect with the same song, even if those people might seem to be people who are very different from each other. But then in songs, there's a lot of songs that many people relate to. And I just think that songs are like a really special way that people can connect with each other.